Yes, this is Mr. Controversy, and this is the infamous three-point conversion station. Keep it locked.
Brownstown USA is brought to you by the three-point conversion. The three-point conversion where fans' opinions matter. Make sure you go by the threepointconversion.com and check out all the articles and all the latest sports news and updates on all social media outlets at 3PTCNVRSN. Now, in this episode of Brownstown USA, we do an emergency podcast for you guys, and we will discuss all the latest crazy Browns news, including the Emmanuel Ogbah trade, Duke Johnson being requested being traded, and then also the amazing press conferences that we were able to watch from Freddie Kitchens and also the players, including OBJ. So, without further ado, here's Brownstown.
Got it back, cause I'm brown. So what's up? Coming at you live and direct. Yo, dude, represent. Mr. Roller South Town. With that new sound. As we get down.
From coast to coast, representing all the dog towns, and I gotta be honest, it's been a crazy day. So, pardon all this. This is the Brownstown USA podcast, powered by the three-point conversion. The three-point conversion, where fans' opinions matter. I'm Eric, and over there is LA. LA?
Again, guys, hello, and man, what a day for Browns news. All kinds of crazy stuff going on, press conferences, trades, requests of being traded, all kinds of stuff. So we are going to cover all of that for you really quickly on this emergency podcast, and then we'll come back to you later on this week and kind of dive in a little bit more. It's more as more comes out and the week goes on. So, Eric, definitely got to get your opinion. We had a trade go down, and then we also had a trade request come through. So I definitely want to get your thoughts on, first of all, the Emmanuel Ogbah trade. We traded Emmanuel Ogbah to the Kansas City Chiefs for safety Eric Murray. Not the Eric that we were thinking about, but I guess an Eric nonetheless. So, Eric, what do you think about the trade?
Honestly, given everything that's been going on, I think it was a good trade, to be honest. I mean, I know a lot of people are going to sit here and say, but Murray's not that good. He's not that great. But given that right now we had Derek Kindred starting, who, no offense to Kindred, he was pretty good. He was not a starter, I hate to say it. He was not going to be a suitable starter for this team. But you know what? This is a good depth piece, and you know what? Murray never really had the chance to shine because he was always behind Eric Berry, and if you're behind Berry, you're only going to get the chance when he gets hurt.
Now, that is a good point. Actually, Murray, crazy enough, was able to start 9 times this season because of the point that you brought up, that Berry was injured. Murray, looking at him on Pro Football Focus as well, he was an above-average safety. Believe he was ranked 50 out of maybe, I think it was either 30 or 50. I can't remember off the top of my head, but he's kind of right in the middle of everything when it comes to strong safeties. Not a person that I'm thinking will be our long-term starter or anything, but again, we traded for somebody named Demarius Randall, and we had no clue and thought he was just going to be a middle-of-the-road guy, and guess what that got us? So, I'm definitely planning on giving this guy every single chance in the world to prove that he can start. Also, come on now, this is one of the best safety classes to come through as well in the draft. So I know we're going to be picking a young man to come through and challenge Murray for that spot. And then also I see Dorsey bringing in some more competition as well, in the training camp. So I'm not, again, what I tweeted earlier, it's early. Let's pump the brakes and let's just let him do what he does. And Dorsey we trust.
Absolutely. That's not even to mention that we're still in these rumor mills for Morgan Burnett, Trey Boston, Eric Berry. I mean, I'm not expecting any of them to come to Cleveland, obviously. I'm more expecting someone in the draft, whether it be Taylor Rupp or Juan Thornhill. The fact of the matter is, I do think the draft is going to play a huge part this year in the secondary. But right now, I think it's a good foundation, at least, and in terms of getting depth at this point.
Absolutely. Now, speaking of depth and all of that, we know that we will replace, Agba. As far as we'll get another depth piece, whether it's through the draft, bringing somebody up, maybe a Chad Thomas or something like that, or even maybe bringing in another veteran. So I wouldn't worry there. But when you talk about depth, this brings me to our next topic, which is Duke Johnson. Now, we got official word that Duke Johnson says that he wants to be traded. Now, we've speculated, we've seen the rumors of him being traded, all kinds of stuff, but now his reps have come out and said that Duke wants to leave. How do you feel about that initially, Eric? And then how do you feel the Browns will combat that? Or if they should even, what should they do and what kind of compensation is out there?
Well, the first thing that I'm going to start off with what the Browns probably will do. So far we've been hearing that the Eagles, the Jets, and Texans are interested. So those are three teams that could make a difference. And you could probably get a good player back for them. I know a lot of people have said Darren Lee possibly, but let's be completely honest here. Running backs are not going for that much. We just saw what Jordan Howard went for, and that was nothing for a guy that was essentially so close to being an all-pro. It's not even funny. It's gonna come down to that. Now, as far as initial reaction, I thought that it was hard. It was hard to stomach just because this was the guy that we campaigned for to get a new contract last year. This was the guy that seemingly wanted to be in Cleveland. But the problem with Duke was, I don't know if it was because he was just not used or if he was misused, but he just struggled. I hate to say it. The guy just could never get it going. Even in that one season, he didn't do that swimmingly. He looked good on for lack of a better word, a depleted roster.
Right. When I come to think about the whole Duke Johnson thing, it's something that I don't want to happen. However, it's one thing to hear rumors about the Browns possibly shopping him, and then there's another thing about getting a confirmed report that his reps are asking for him to be traded. So you can't have somebody come out and say they want to be traded and not want them to be traded because their mind is not going to be there. They're not going to give 100%. And I really can't fault Duke. We misused him last season, and we've been crying on this show all the time to give Duke the ball. Everybody has, right? So, it's like he wants to go somewhere where his talents can be showcased. He's a great talent. Whoever gets him is going to get a phenomenal player. Plus, his contract is already there. You know what I'm saying? It's already set up. So you don't have to worry about him asking for any more money for at least a couple of more years or so. I would have had forecasted maybe him going to the Eagles or something like that. But then again, they just traded for Howard. So, he could possibly pop up anywhere, but whoever gets him, man, is going to be getting a dangerous weapon. And man, I just wish him the best. I can't be mad at him. And you know how our fans are. If a player wants to leave or something like that, we'd immediately turn against them or whatever and start bashing them. But I can't really bash Duke in this situation, man. It's not his fault.
No, not even close. Look, it's not his fault in this situation. Not to mention, he's kind of getting rubbed out when you ultimately think about it because you have Kareem Hunt, who the minute he comes back I believe it was week 8, was it?
Yeah.
Well, the minute he comes back, you're just going to see an influx of use by Kareem Hunt. Chubb's going to get, of course, a good chunk of carries. And I'll be honest, I think Hilliard's going to start and see some more time as well because he got some carries last year. So, and that's not even including if they draft somebody.
Yeah, you're right. So yeah, I think that again, it's going to be a competition because we were counting on Duke to at least hold that spot down until Hunt was available. So I do see us maybe bringing in somebody who can not necessarily take carries away from Chubb, but somebody can hold down a spot for a little bit. You know what I mean? To spell them out and stuff like that. And like you said, Hilliard may be that guy, or I can see a rookie maybe coming in and being that guy because the running backs aren't going to really go that high this year anyway. So we could probably pick up somebody late, a late round gem again, that can hold down that spot for us. Yeah, but again, like I said, I just really hate to see Duke go. Now, speaking of Derek and different things like that, we've seen Derek Kendrick get released. We've seen Howard Wilson get released. But a positive sign is we've seen Rashard Higgins get extended. Finally, something that we have been all waiting to hear, right? So, how you feel about the departure of Kendrick and the signing of Higgins?
Well, I think probably the one name that gets lost in all the shuffle was that Ricardo Lewis was also released.
Right.
Lewis, of course, was the guy that was essentially going to block Higgins last year, but Lewis blew out his leg, if I remember correctly, and ended up having to miss the season. So that sucks in that regard. That said, it also gave birth to the rise of Hollywood Higgins. Like, let's be real here. Higgins was someone that didn't do anything wrong with the quarterbacks. He kept his mouth shut, and he went in and worked, and he was efficient. The one image that will always be ingrained in my head, and it just annoyed the hell out of me, was Deshaun Kaiser on the sideline with Ricardo Lewis during that Packer game where Kaiser was calling out Lewis. Now, I know Deshaun Kaiser was a terrible quarterback here in Cleveland in that 1 year, but you really have to think about it. If you're getting called out for not trying, and then you look at his drop totals, yeah, a lot of people drop the ball with Kaiser, but it just looks awful on your end, especially considering that a lot of the balls he dropped, most of those had to have been caught.
Yeah, very true. And I mean, Ricardo has popped in and out. I mean, we kind of seen the writing on the wall. I expect a couple more receivers to get, signed or cut or whatever. That's going to be a revolving door because we pretty much already got our top 4 wide receivers set. You know what I mean? Between Higgins, OBJ, Landry, and Callaway. So I'm not really concerned too much with the 5th wide receiver spot. I expect that to be held down by a rookie, or like I said, we signed Jalen Strong. We got a couple of people still sitting back there chilling. So, that's more special teams and different things like that. But we'll see, What we're going to do, man, is let's take a quick break. This show won't be that long, but we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the pressers that happen. And if you guys didn't get a chance to catch them, I will tell you where they are in a quick second. We'll be right back.
I'm Larry Gajobi from the Cleveland Browns. I'm rocking with the 3-Point Conversion Radio.
And we're back, Brownstown, USA. Again, like I said, we're powered by the 3-Point Conversion. Make sure you follow Brownstown, USA on all your social media outlets, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. We also got a Facebook interactive group that you can hop in and talk and chit-chat as much as you want. But we are at Brownstown, USA on all of those. Thank you so much. And something that I don't do enough which I should, is I apologize. You should follow us as well, okay? And you can follow Eric over on Twitter at Stoshball, and you follow him on Instagram at I_am_Stoshball, and then me on all your social media at LA_Broadus. So, getting back to it, Eric, I already know that you were excited about these pressers. Even before we hopped on, like I said, this is an emergency episode, so you had to go check out the players presser. You got a chance to catch out some of Freddie. So before I get into the players part of it, what did you see from Freddie, man? What stuck out to you? What was your likes, and if you had any dislikes?
Well, honestly, the one thing I will definitely say is it felt nice to hear someone that actually, and this is going to sound awful, actually sounded like he gave a damn about the game, more so than gave a damn about himself. Like, think about this point last year. With Hugh Jackson, this was a guy that was essentially interviewing to save his skin. This was a guy that would do nothing but talk about the river jump just because it was on everybody's mind, or the lake jump. But then when you ultimately get down to it, he just didn't really give a damn about the game. He didn't give a damn about the team. And it started to show after a while that he was just essentially trying to save himself and then just his way. And that, to me, is what bothered me. When I heard Freddie talk, he just kept deflecting questions about it and what if something bad like this? What if something horrible like this? Which I get that he will need to answer those eventually. But you know what? He's focused on trying to get this team going. He's trying to focus on being just that guy if he can. So I can't fault him for that at all.
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
One of the things I liked about Freddie is the very first thing he said when he first came out at the presser is good luck to the Cleveland Indians. I felt that was such a classy move, especially with all Cleveland fans just battling all week up to this point, talking about how disrespectful it was to the Indians to hold a presser on their opening day. Just different things like that they were just being disgruntled about. Indians Twitter. And then Browns Twitter, of course, being much stronger than Indians Twitter, came back at him. It was just like, look, shut up. Y'all, you know what I'm saying? Like, y'all, this is the first time we're relevant, and they were battling, and I'm just like, man, I really could care less. I mean, baseball isn't my thing, but of course I keep an eye on the Indians, but I'm like, there's no way that this could overshadow it. It's just bringing more buzz. I mean, all these people here for the presser, okay, well, they can walk right over to, to the stadium afterwards, you know what I mean? Or catch the game in the bar or something like that. This is still all helping the city. So it's not one team against another team, but we know that Cleveland is a football town. But the first thing, Freddie said is, good luck to the Indians on, on their home opener. He had on the Indians ball cap. I mean, just absolute class act. And then
absolutely.
And then on top of that, you seen at one point he kind of got into a little back and forth with a reporter about if the guys, wanted to show up to voluntary workouts and how he felt about it. And he was just like, that's their right. And he kind of got back and forth a little bit. But you could tell that he has like a light side to him, but he also has a stern side to him. And that right there told me, Eric, that this is the guy that can literally be in that locker room with those guys and won't have a problem.
Absolutely. And you know what? That's a great thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So talking about the player presser, I mean, again, like I said, it's weird. You never see, the guys come out with other players, normally with a GM or a coach or something like that. This one was a little bit different, of course. We had Myles Garrett up there. We had Odell Beckham. We had Jarvis Landry. And we had Baker Mayfield. No coaches or anybody there. Eric, when you told me you watched it, you was like, wow, really good presser. What was on your mind, man? What did you see? What did you like?
Well, one thing that I did see that I think a lot of people probably obviously did notice was just the connectivity of the team. Like, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I think that they did something bad. I mean, one of the biggest quarrels that people had was that Odell Beckham Jr. wasn't this team first guy, but over time we saw that maybe that wasn't the case. It came to a head today, and there was just connectivity between him, Baker, and especially and Jarvis Landry. It was not friendship, it was more of a brotherhood, and that's something that's always been missing in Cleveland. Like, as much as we may say these guys are brothers, they play together, they do all this together for most of the year, we never had something that felt like legitimate brothers like this.
Right. The biggest thing that I got initially from it was that they literally brought up, and I think that they did this strategically, but they brought up the faces of this franchise. I mean, Myles Garrett, Jarvis Landry, Odell Beckham, Baker. These are the faces, the perennial stars of our team. But again, like they said, and even when they were up there, there's still a lot of people that contribute to this team that are very important to this team just as much as they are. And another thing that was really cool about Odell that he said is that he said he came from a team that that ran 70% of the time. And he was like, so we was out there blocking. So that was really good to hear, to hear that he said, yo, I'm a team guy. Like, I don't get what everybody, I'm passionate, but I'm a team guy, And then another thing, man, is I just didn't know Jarvis was so, and, a lot of people would laugh about this, but I didn't know he was so in touch with his feelings or whatever like that. Us as guys, we don't like to really talk about feelings and crying and stuff. But he said it. He was like, look, man, I cried, when I found out. And I cried several times. So I thought that was really cool. And just to see him and Odell talk about being brothers and how they talked about playing on the same team in the NFL way back in high school. Like, if there was any team that Odell would have got traded to, this had to be the perfect team. It couldn't have got no better.
No, absolutely not. And you know what? That isn't to say just because we're Browns fans. We're not saying this because if it was either Cleveland or nothing. We're saying this because, well, when you have that kind of a relationship, that kind of bond, that's something that's absolutely special. It's something that you can't replicate. And it's something that when you get down to it, it's very, very, I don't even know. Like, it's something that's indescribable. So,
yeah, purely
authentic. Yeah, like, the other thing is, and maybe it's just me on this one, like, did anybody also notice that really Odell Beckham Jr. during that whole presser was even it looked like he was trying to hold back some feelings as well. Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like,
I agree. And it was crazy because I don't know if you've seen, Eric, I want to ask you if you've seen this, but it was a lot of media people coming out saying, oh, well, Odell's not going to be happy to be in Cleveland. He looks distraught. I even had somebody comment on my Facebook post today when I posted the picture of, all of them holding up the Odell Beckham jersey. He was like, oh, he looks unhappy. I mean, how does that translate to that? You know what I mean? Like, I'm confused.
You want to know how it does? It's because people still have the mindset that Cleveland is a joke. Keep in mind that people were saying the exact same thing when Myles Garrett was holding up the jersey of when he was taken number 1 2 years ago. If you remember, they had memes of it, just like, this is what the face you make when your whole career is ruined by getting drafted by the Browns. No, that's not the face. I mean, this was the guy that was saying that if we didn't draft him number 1, we were going to make a huge mistake. And so far, yeah, I mean, he's probably been right on this one. But
dude, even with Jarvis, remember they were like, when he got traded from Miami, they're like, oh, they traded Miami, was punishing him by trading him to Cleveland. And then all of a sudden, you see Jarvis sign this huge contract extension, and we're like, okay, well, how accurate is this? They said the same thing about Baker, right? Oh, Baker's gonna, pull a Eli Manning, you know what I'm saying? And we're like, oh, okay. And then all of a sudden you seen, yeah, he loves being here. So, like, it's like not only did we show people on the field last year that, okay, we're actually building something, but it's like there's no mistaking that Cleveland is not a joke anymore.
No, and that's the thing. People are still under that mentality about it. I mean, probably one of the seldom seen things was that, if you remember, I don't know if you saw the video, but there's already a video up about the jerseys for next year. Baker said that, and they were showing Baker the early mock of it, and he was even saying that he thinks the team would look good in this. So,
oh yeah,
he's obviously got
these. Yeah, he said that's sweet. He was like, oh, that's sweet. It's like, that's nice.
Yeah, the thing is, Baker's one of those guys that spreads the ball around, and he's the type of guy that is a team-first type of quarterback. It's not like Jeff Garcia, where you knew he was in it for the money, or Jake Delhomme, who's looking for that last contract because he knew he was on, shaky ground. That's the thing. Baker's not that type of guy. He's not Johnny Manziel, which people have been making him out to be. He's genuine. So the fact that he was able to speak volumes of OBJ, that should say something.
Absolutely. But as you've seen, man, tons of Browns news. Maybe we might have some more for you guys later on this week when we record our normal episode. But definitely want to thank you for listening to this emergency pod. Man, just an exciting time to be a Cleveland Browns fan. So make sure you're out there doing what you got to do and represent us well. Make sure you follow BrownsTownUSA, all your social media platforms at BrownsTownUSA, and also the 3-point conversion, which powers us at 3PTCNVRSN. Again, thanks for listening to the show. Make sure you hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode. And we'll be back later on in the week to kind of dive in a little bit more of what we've seen from this week and possibly some more new news. It's Brownstown, USA.
Absolutely. We'll see you next week, and who knows? This could only be the beginning.
Never die.